Coaches, this week we're going to take a look at how we build our players' ability to finish and to know when to make the proper decision depending on where the defense is. So I'm going to give you a couple of drills that you can use, and these are drills that we've actually been using with our players in our summer park series. So when we go down to the park, have kids show up for voluntary workouts, these are some things that we're working with. And this is ages third grade all the way up to seniors in high school. So I think it's things that, depending on the skill level, you can make a little bit harder or easier, but they're things that anybody really can use. So I'll just give you a couple of them here. The first one that I want to give you has 3 cones in it. So we're just going to put these here. And you can use a player or a coach. I'll go ahead and put a C for a coach there for right now. And then we have our player on this side. So our offensive player is over here. And all the coach is going to do, they're going to start with the ball. And all they're going to do is hand or give a toss to the player across the cone. And then they're going to step into one of these lanes. And if they step into the lane here to be on the coach's right, the player is going to drive down this way to the basket. If we did the same thing over here, but this time the coach is going to pass the ball over to the player and it's going to step in between the other cones, then there's going to be a drive into the middle and a finish. So it allows your players, especially your younger players, to quickly develop where the defense is at, and you can adjust your position a little bit so that they have to read you or they have to scan to see exactly what you're doing first, but then they got to choose which drive they want to have available. So that's one with a coach. One without a coach is we just put the player right here, and we're going to have a secondary player, defender, with the ball right next to him, right there. The defender just hands the ball to the offensive player and then is going to go in and it's going to finish. It's up to the defender, as soon as they hand the ball off, to try to jump in front no matter where it is, to try to stop the offensive player from getting a basket. And what you'll find a lot of times is your offensive player is going to want to cross their feet. All right, we'll draw it over here. So their feet are right here. We hand the player the ball, and he steps with his foot across his body first, and he'll find that the defender can quickly run in front of and get there without a problem. So a finer point to kind of teach him is you don't want to step with that foot across your body, since you already have the left-hand side. There is the area you're going to go. We have our defense here. They hand the ball off. Step with this outside foot and create some distance. Get some separation there. Now the defender is going to have to fight much harder to get in front of you, and they'll likely not be able to do that until you're down where the player can at least get a position for a foul, hopefully for a finish as well. But that's handing the ball off just right next to each other. You can make it just a little bit harder. Let's go ahead and move our screen down here. By positioning the player directly in front, so we have our defensive player in front and our offensive player here. So again, it's a handoff, and then they're just playing one-on-one, trying to decide. And you could tell your defenders have 1 foot forward, so that offensive player is paying attention to what foot is forward and maybe attacking that outside foot. You can also make it so the defender is kind of on a little bit of an angle here. So there's still a clear gap going to the left-hand side, but when that ball is handed off to them, they do have an advantage, and they're trying to finish. That's the big thing. Along these same lines is put the defender behind the offensive player. Now they have to try to finish. They can use whatever hand they want, but they've got pressure coming behind them, and they've got to finish under pressure. When we play during the season, we press an awful lot. And one of the things I tell my guys is don't stop playing even if you think they have a layup. A lot of players miss layups because they feel the pressure of the defender coming behind them. This helps eliminate that pressure so that they're used to just finishing it and maybe having somebody try to come up and block them or taking a little bit of contact there. So those are all kind of variations of a one-on-one deal that you can do. And just to give you one more to kind of round out the whole thing is we'll have an offensive player and a defensive player start here. Offensive player has the ball. You have 1 cone out here, and give 2 cones actually. What we're going to have happen is the offensive player is going around the second cone. The defensive player who's at a disadvantage because they're behind is going to run around the first cone and try to stop them. You can also do this on the other side of the floor here and make it so that now it's a dribbling drill. So now they're dribbling down and around. The defensive player is coming around that first cone. They've got a little bit of a shortcut, but they're trying to get in front of them. So this is a great drill. If you don't want to just do your regular stationary ball handling, put them on the right side or the left side. And then once they turn that corner, they can use either hand. You'll start to see them use moves and do things that you couldn't do in a stationary drill. Some of them you like and some of them you don't, but they're working on their ball handling either way. So coaches, hopefully this is some stuff that you can add to whatever you have going on, whatever workout you might have going on, whatever thing you have at the park. But we have our 3 cone with a coach stepping through, and then we have a series of one-on-one play, and then we finish up with having a 2 cone with the offensive player taking the far cone, the defensive player taking the close cone, and you've got a one-on-one game there as well. So hopefully this will help you out as you teach your kids how to dribble, how to make decisions, and how to finish at the basket. All right, we'll talk to you later, Coach.